Look, I don't know what more I can tell you. My name is Carl Kolchak. I'm a freelance reporter in town to cover the Pentagon report for the Roswell, New Mexico incident. I know nothing about this guy Prescott who's missing, and I had nothing to do with any explosion. All I know is what I saw, and that I've spent all day running into, running from, and being threatened by you and the other thugs in the black suits and sunglasses. Well, Carl, you've really done it this time. I'm sitting in some college lounge, being interrogated by federal agents for involvement with possible kidnapping, working with a suspected foreign spy, and sabotage. One agent, the redhead, had the most amazing eyes that in any other circumstance would be a joy to see. She was using them on me, trying to play good cop. She said, "You have to admit, Mr. Kolchak, that there are parts of your story that stretch the limits of credibility. At the very least, it doesn't explain your trespassing on university property, even if you were helping who you described." The tall one, who looked like he walked out of a Men's Warehouse ad, was doing a lousy job of bad cop. "Mr. Kolchak, I can understand you're frustrated, confused, and even scared by the events you experienced, and that you may not be remembering everything accurately. If you could please just go over it again from the beginning. It may recall something you missed, or give us details that we can check on." I took off my hat, put on my most indignant look that I could muster, and looked him in the eye, and then prepared to tell him the tale I had to sell them on, for both my sake and that strange thing I helped to get away. "Agent Mulder, I spent my life getting the story, finding the truth, and a part of one brief period today. I remember everything, so I'll tell it again. The day began not unlike any other in the busy city. You wake up, perform the morning rituals of meal, dress, and drive on your way to work, just like the rest. But this time, you were caught by fate. The brakes in a truck fail. Instead of stopping, it flies through the intersection you were crossing and T-bones your sedan with tremendous force. Sends it spinning into the opposite corner, bouncing off more cars. After a moment, you rise and crawl out of the wreck, hurt but lucky to be alive. The people all stare at you, and you sense they have more fear than for your concern. It's easy to see why, or it is what they see and don't believe. You are no longer human-looking. The witnesses claim that what climbed out of the victim's car was male, dressed in a nice suit, and had the bleeding head of a lizard. It stood for a moment, looked around confused, and then, in a panic, ran down an alleyway and disappeared. Sadly, the camera phone was still a new concept. Bystanders were in shock and didn't have the reflexes of taking pictures or video of something they might later need to prove. Lucky for them, the nation's capital was an early advocate for the red light traffic cams. Many times in my travels, I have to take detours from my own pursuits for paying gigs, freelance assignments from other sites or magazines. A smart actor once remarked why they sometimes did lousy films. They said they usually pay better than the critical films, so it's one for the reels and one for the meals. Well, this reporter has to eat too. So I was in D.C. to cover the Pentagon report panel releasing yet another explanation for the incident at Roswell on its 50th anniversary for some European UFO magazines. I was driving to the Capitol building, and unless there's a good game to listen to, I usually have my radio on the police scanner. This time, it paid off. There was a call for a traffic accident with injuries, 3 vehicles at the intersection of K Street and Northwest 21st, but it was what followed that got my attention. All units, please be advised of Code November situation at scene. Repeat, Code November is at scene. Code November? I'd heard of that before. It's a situation referring to special government agencies at the scene and pretty much shutting the area down. It came from the Kennedy assassination at Dealey Plaza, which happened in November of 1963. For that call, here in the nation's capital, it must be something newsworthy indeed, surely better than some rehashed weather balloon story. I can catch that late and ask around after I check this out. Little did I know, the chase was on.